Follow Lord.
Now the continuation of the Yangti visualization and meditation. The Now yesterday we were talking a little bit about the Yangtik, what is really Yangtik means, and it really means actually the view of the view of our life, so to speak. You know, actually all the how do you say? Oh, that's the way you should really be understanding about your life, about your entire sort of like movement, entire movement of your life. As I mentioned yesterday, drinking tea, sleeping, talking, walking, and etc. All the activities needs to be understood as that way. And so that is the Yangtik. And then now when we talk about the visualization, you know, then people may be thinking that if everything is impermanent, what do you call that? Everything is impermanent, and also everything is shunyata, means the empty. Everything is not existing inherently, and so then if everything is emptiness, everything is the voidness, then how come that there is a kind of a practice so-called visualization? Why do we need a visualization? Why do we need the visualization? That is what really we have to understand, why the visualization is needed. Visualization is very simple. You know, I mean, the reason why we need to have a visualization done is very simple. Because our visualization that we have, that we live on. That is the visualization that oriented by the dualistic attitude, as I said, as I told you yesterday, dualistic attitude. You may not call it visualization, but I would call it visualization, because we live on the visualization. We are visualizing pillar. We are visualizing our friend. We are visualizing our enemy. We are visualizing we are visualizing we are visualizing everything. You know, there is no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. We don't call it visualization. You know, when we look at the pillar here, do we call it our visualization? This is our visualization. No, we don't call it. Why? Because we have a strong attachment about the pillar being so solid, so real. That is attachment that we have. So therefore, you know, we don't even bother to think about it being a visualization. We don't call it visualization. If you say it this way, if you say this is a visualization, people will never understand what you are talking about. It is not a visualization. It is real, but it is not real. According to the reality state of the phenomena, or Yangtik, so to speak, according to the Yangtik, this is not real. You know, I mean, this is not real. This is not true, as it appears to be. Appears to be. It appears to be a very real, very solid, And it's not only just the appearing like a, like a movie or something like a hallucination. It is not like that. More than that, 100 times more than that. As I mentioned yesterday, it is really a solid that if you walk through, if you jump and bang your head on the pillar, you will end up in the hospital. That actually means it's so real, so solid that you will even have to go to the hospital and cure yourself. That actually means so solid. And solid, actually, that solidness comes from the pillar or not? That is the question. It's not coming from the pillar. It is coming from your, misunderstanding. Your attitude. Your solid attitude. The dualistic attitude. I call it dualistic attitude. Because you have an attitude that the pillar is completely different from you, you are completely different from the pillar. And that is what we call attachment. Just after 1 hour, we are going through a refuge also. So in our refuge, we call it, the main practice of the refuge is to renounce. And renunciation, what we are talking, always we talk about renunciation, and what we are talking about is to renounce from the attachment, not from the pillar. Renounce from the attachment that you are, that attachment that you, that will make you feel that the pillar is so real, pillar is so separately exist as it is appears to be. So that is the thing that you have to renounce, not that you have to renounce from the pillar. Some people and some of the tradition even think that renunciation means you have to renounce from the pillar. You have to renounce from the column. You have to renounce from the house. You have to renounce from the things that you see, things that you do, things that you feel. But we, as a practitioner of this Mahamudra and practitioner of general, the Vajrayana in general, we don't believe in that. We believe that we have to renounce from our attitude, the dualistic attitude. That is the essence of the refuge, if you want, if you like. So, that is the reason, one of the reasons that the refuge is very, very important, even for the people who are practitioners of the Vajrayana. Even though the refuge itself is regarded as a common path, even more common than the Sutrayana. It is the common means in the sense common with even the Hinayana also. But the renunciation is very, very important. One of the greatest method in order to understand more deeper the meaning of the Vajrayana. So now going back to visualization, okay? Now visualization now is a very, very important part of one of the most important part of the Vajrayana practice. So visualization is very important. Why? Because we need to transform our dualistic visualization, so to speak, into the non-dualistic visualization. That is the thing. The pillar that you can see, the column that you can see, the people that you can talk to and relate to, commonly speaking, is a very much dualistic visualization. Our dualistic visualization is so well done, so nicely done, ever since beginninglessness of the samsara till today. Therefore, it is so solid, you know. Everything is so solid. It's not because that they are solid. It is because that the attachment that we have is so solid, therefore they appears to be very solid. That is very important to understand that. It's a very important and it's a very easy also. If the teachers or masters, they point it nicely, it's a very easy actually. But unfortunately, many masters are so well educated, so well, how do you say, so rich in terminology. So therefore they have lots of terminologies and ways to sort of like spin the thing. So it's a very difficult to get the point because it's a spinning all the time. And it's so nice and it's so colorful. Too colorful that sometimes we don't understand because we are so dull. We are so, how do you say, ignorant. We are so immatured, let's put it like that. We are like a baby and they are like an adult. The masters are very adult and they talk about the adult things. And we are baby. We just don't know what they are talking about. We want to see something that we know. And so of course, sometime the skillful masters, they have to come down in order us to understand something that very much same level as a kind of a lay understanding, lay level. They have to find some solution to introduce the truth. So therefore, many masters, that is I also came to know that many masters, they teach you such a great master, such a great teachings, but they have been so rich in the terminology, so rich in the reasons and so forth. So they have lots of things to talk about, little too much for us to understand. Therefore we don't know. So we give up. I think like that. Many of our practitioners, lay practitioners, even monk practitioners, nun practitioners, you know, they can't digest, they can't understand, we don't understand, so then actually secretly we give up because we don't understand. And that's very sad actually. Even though we pretend that we know, we understand, we are Buddhist, we are follower of so-and-so masters, we are follower of so-and-so lineage, so-and-so tradition. But you follower, you are talking about yourself being a follower, but you're not following anything because you don't know anything how to follow. Maybe some of them are very good at following ritualistic practices, but that's also not really the truly following. You're not following the real thing, because real thing is that you have to understand these two, relative truth and ultimate truth, and how to transform the relative truth into ultimate truth. Or in other words, how to transform the dualistic visualization, dualistic vision, which is of course the pillars and people and mountains and anything, you know, all the phenomena. That is dualistic. So these has to be transformed into the non-dualistic visualization, if you like. I mean, this is, maybe I made it up, but that is the fact, of the teachings of Lord Buddha. So there you need a visualization, the skill of visualization. Many of you might have gone through all these visualizations, you know, visualization practices, etc., etc. So when you say visualization, you visualize Vajradhara, yourself. You visualize Guru Padma Sambhava, yourself. You visualize Avalokiteshvara yourself. You visualize this building as a mandala of so and so deities, etc., etc. Why? It's a stupid thing to do if you don't know why you are doing it. Why you have to visualize this as a mandala? You don't need to. It's an extra headache. You just enjoy whatever it is there. That's it. Why you have to visualizing? Why you have to visualize yourself as a something else that you don't know what you are really talking about? So there's no meaning. There's no reason. There's no purpose if you do not understand why the visualization is need to be done. So visualization is just a skill of transforming your dualistic visualization into the non-dualistic visualization, which is also still, it is not the ultimate. It is the one higher step. That's all, if you like. One higher step towards to the divination, towards to the divine realm. So this is what we are doing. We are like a for example, baby, just born baby, there's no hope to walk. But after, I don't know, certain period of time, the baby, there's a time for the baby to walk. So you have to sort of like help him or her to walk. So you train him or her to walk a little bit, but that doesn't mean that he will be able to walk to Kathmandu, walk to Delhi. He cannot. Doesn't mean that he's not a final sort of walking skill. He's not yet there, but he's walking one step or two step. It is also a kind of a improvement. So it's a gradual improvement. Anyway, you have to go through it. So similarly, that the transforming your dualistic visualization, which is pillar, the things that you can see, or the things that you can hear, the things that you can touch and you can feel, all these things needs to be transformed. If you cannot transform, or if you cannot even bother to transforming things to the non-dualistic way, then there is no way to practice. That the main purpose of practice of whatever we have been doing practice is gone already. It's not there. It is not materialized. It is not targeted. So you will not receive it. You will not achieve it. There is nothing to achieve. What do you want to achieve? Nothing. We Buddhists always say we want to achieve the Buddhahood. What is Buddhahood? Without transforming the things that you see, without transforming the things that you can hear, and without transforming the things that you can feel or you can imagine, there is no other achievement or enlightenment that you can receive. There is no way to get a Buddhahood. Where is Buddhahood? What is Buddhahood? There is no Buddhahood. There is no Buddha anyway. You don't have to say even hood. Buddha. There is no Buddha. There is no God. There's nothing. Nothing. You will be like remaining as you are. You will be remaining as a samsaric guys, some samsaric people. Suffering continuously, confused continuously, and that's it. Within the net, with the net of the confusion, net of the net of the dualistic visualization. That's all. So therefore, you have to. The main purpose is to demolish. According to the Vajrayana, I'm talking about the Vajrayana, okay? You have to be able to demolish your vision that you can see, in front, and you can hear, you can feel. That has to be demolished. And demolished, how you demolish? How do you demolish? Demolish doesn't mean that you have to go there with the axe and with the hammer and make it disappear. Means like a destroy. No, it is not. You may call it demolish, but you're not demolishing there, but you are demolishing your attitude, as I mentioned before. Your attitude has to be demolished. Your attitude has to be transformed. So if you are able to do that, then this mandala, this building, for instance, this very building is going to be a mandala. It is truly mandala. You don't even have to deal with this sort of fancy building. Even if you have a very small, humble, very humble, very small hut that you live in, or maybe not even a hut, just a cave or something, that itself is a great spacious mandala, great limitless space, or one of the greatest mandala, divine mandala, greatest mandala, the biggest mandala, grand mandala, that made of jewels, made of gold, made of whatever. You can call it whatever you want. That is the Vajradhara's mandala. That is going to be Avalokiteshvara's mandala. That is going to be the Chakrasambhava's mandala. Going to be means not going to be. I mean, I wouldn't call it going to be, but it is primordially the great mandala of Buddha. And people who are living in that hut, he himself is actually the primordial Buddha, enlightenment. So that is what, after transforming, you will see the real. And first step is that you will be seeing yourself as a Buddha, seeing and you be able to transform your vision. But you will not be able to transform the visions of other people. They won't be able to see you as a Buddha. They won't be seeing you or seeing your hut as a great mandala. People will not see, because your practice is not yet to that level that you can truly, how do you say, externally transform the visualization for others. This is again one more step you have to go. But that is a step anyway we are talking about. So now when it comes to practical level, or in other words, when we say, okay, I'm visualizing so and so, you are just imagining. Your imagination needs to be transformed first. Unfortunately, it's just like a kindergarten, for school. It's a kindergarten. Imagination needs to be sort of like worked out. So imagination helps a lot. So we are visualizing. Actually, visualization, the skill of visualization starts from the imagination. You imagine, which is not good, which is very, very stupid and very primitive, but needs to be done that way. There is no way other than that for people like us, because we don't have a spontaneous understanding or realization of the truth of the phenomena. We don't have that, unfortunately. Why? Because we are so we are so badly stuck with the idea of being these phenomena very solidly, very solid. As I said before, everything is so solid, so real. So therefore, for the time being, we cannot do anything except imagining yourself being a Vajradhara, imagining yourself being a Vajrayogini, imagining yourself being a Guru Padma Sambhava, but along with the faith, along with the sense of belief, sense of understanding. So this is what we call it, I call it religious with the philosophy. The religion with the philosophy. Religion is needed to start with, but it is not ultimate. So when we speak about that, when we talk about that, visualization, you have to have a faith. That part is religion. That part is really a religion. But that should never be the how do you say, the mainstream. It should never be the mainstream. Mainstream is not the faith. Faith is something that that somebody told to you, somebody taught, somebody, how do you say, somebody mentioned it to you, somebody made you to think that way. It's a little bit of kind of a force, which is no good. But unfortunately, it is need to be there to start with. It's like an engine ignition. It needs an ignition. So you know, it's like a ignition. So it is needed to be there. But if you get stuck with that, that is a very bad. That is a badly catastrophe. Actually, you are not recommended to get stuck with that. Very, very important not to. So, now faith that we are talking about. Sometimes some people, they say that the Buddhist doesn't believe in a faith. But I don't think that is true. Faith is also needed. Faith is very important. One needs to have a faith to start with. But it is not the mainstream, as I mentioned before. So, faith that we are talking about here, we are how do you say? We are talking about the belief. You know, right now there is no choice other than believing. If you don't believe right now, yes, you're most welcome not to believe, but where would it be taking you to? You will be remaining as you are, as you know, as a perfect samsaric people, samsaric guys, and you will never be able to improve yourself. So, as an ignition for the engine, you need a little bit of belief, sense of belief. And that belief needs to be seeded by master, by friend, Dharma friend, by the books, by this and that, which is very childish anyway. But you need to, because as I mentioned, we are child. So we need to be childish. Obviously. You cannot pretend that you are adult, but you are just born baby. So you have to be acting as you are, as a child. So childish things needs to be implemented. No choice, because you are child. That is as simple as that. People think the practices are very. Some people they say they criticize the ritual practices are very childish. Don't do it. Don't waste your time. Do meditation. Keep silent. and you will get the enlightenment through the meditation, not from the beating drum, not from the playing cymbal, not from the playing trumpet. These things will never give you any support, any kind of enlightenment, nothing. Don't do this. Just be meditating. In the West, many of the Westerners, they love meditation. I think so. And of course, nothing wrong with the loving meditation, but then at the same time, they have a very much sense of criticism, very strong criticism towards to the disciplines, and what to dress, what not to dress, what to do, how to do that, and militarized, kind of militarized ritual practices, they go against fully. And they say these things are just like a bit childish, don't do it. It's a waste of time. Yes, actually it is true. But again, during the time that we are a child, you have to be treated as a childish way, so that we will be able to survive. You cannot say you have to be adult, you have to be acting as an adult, but you are not even 1 year old, but you have to act as a 20 years old, 30 years old. How can you sort of like force a baby to do that? No way. So it's very, very similar, very, very similar. There's a very strong similarities between these examples, between the example and the true, and the fact. So we are nobody but just a bunch of children. So we have to treat ourselves, or we have to go through the childish way of bringing ourselves up. So this is one of the treatment that Buddha has given, childish treatment, is the visualization, skill of the visualization. I always think that way. I myself feel also very difficult to do the practice of visualization sometimes. Sometimes it comes very nicely, I don't know why, but sometimes it doesn't come. Very difficult, and it makes sometimes even myself feel that why should I do that? Why am I doing this? Why am I wasting such a lot of time for this? Why am I not just remaining on Mahamudra, do nothing? That is much better. That's much better. I feel that sometimes. But that actually means I want to pretend I am an adult. But it is not. I am a child. But I don't realize, I don't remember that I'm a child still. So I have to go back again, saying to myself and say, okay, now let's do. So visualizations need to be forced. And there is a little bit of sense of force, and also at the same time there is the faith. And faith, what we are really talking about, what I'm talking right now, what I'm trying to refer to is, for example, Guru Padma Sambhava. You visualize Guru Padma Sambhava, and very much childishly you are visualizing Guru Padma Sambhava. One of the reasons why I'm saying it's a childish is that, we visualize Guru Padma Sambhava as you can see as a statue, or maybe you have a beautifully painted Tibetan set of thangka, and you put it there. You pay a lot of money and you hang there, and then you just watch and then you try. But we don't even know that how Guru Rinpoche looked like actually. Guru Padma Sambhava, I don't think Guru Padma Sambhava looks like him. I don't think so. Guru Padma Sambhava is so many varieties of vision, and so many varieties of, colors, action, and things that he holds. things that he talks, things that he dress. We can't imagine. We can't imagine. But we just stick ourselves with the idea of Guru Rinpoche being like this, or Guru Rinpoche being like this. Guru Rinpoche has a certain type of hat, certain type of color, certain type of shape of the body, and we stick with that temporarily, childishly. This is what I'm saying. Actually, it is a childish. We don't even know what is Guru Rinpoche look like. But we have to stick with that. So this is what we call faith. You have to stick with the Guru Padmasambhava, look like this. Therefore, we have a big statue of Guru Padmasambhava in this hall, so that people can get kind of a vision of a Guru Padmasambhava. Nothing wrong with it. Even though it's a childish, but it's nothing wrong with it. For children, we have lots of stupid things for them to play. Make different noise and different things, but doesn't make any sense to us. For adults like us, doesn't make any sense. Sometimes it's nuisance also, to hear that the babies are making such a pointless kind of noise and this thing. But for them, it's a very important. It is a very, very, very important for the children. It's such an important issue. So we as an adult, or we as an parents, we have to give them things that they shake, they make noise. And it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. But for them it does make sense. So therefore you can see lots of these stupid things to be sold in the shop, because half of the world needs that. So similarly, that these visualization is very badly needed, and very badly needed to be believed also. If you don't believe, that actually means you are pretending you are adult, but you are not adult. Why you should be pretending you are adult? You're not adult. If you are adult, no problem, very good, but you are not adult from a spiritual point of view. I'm talking about. From a spiritual point of view, we are just born baby. So therefore, we better stick with where we are. So therefore, one of the stupid skill of a Vajrayana is the visualization. Very, very important. So that has to come from the faith. Okay, come from the faith, come along with the faith. Very, very important. If you don't have a faith, then you are again pretending to be a child. But it is pretension. It is like a acting, something that is not true. This is not good. You have to be honest to yourself. So therefore you have to believe that the Guru Padmasambhava is you, 100% you, and it looks like this, hold this, color this, shape, and all these, what do you call that, what do you call that, all these, how do you say, all these vision, what do you call that, denomination. All these denominations are very much vividly there, vividly needs to be visualized, vividly. When you have this, when you do the visualization, if you have a notion that you are visualizing something is not true, something childish, something that is not really true, then you are spoiling your process of practice. Therefore, faith is very important. You don't want to spoil your effort. You are putting a lot of effort, but at the same time you are spoiling. That I don't even know whether the Guru Padma Sambhava exists or not. It doesn't matter. I was told to visualize Guru Padma Sambhava. Let's do it. I'll do the visualization. But I don't believe that the Guru Padma Sambhava exists. I don't believe that the Buddha exists. I don't believe that the Avalokiteshvaras exist. At least, Avalokiteshvara doesn't look like this, doesn't look like that. And then, do you know what really Avalokiteshvara look like? No, I don't know. You don't know. Do you? No, I don't. So, nobody knows. So then, leave it like this or do something. Of course, better to do something. So therefore, Buddha Shakyamuni very skillfully given the as a way of visualizing. How to visualize Avalokiteshvara? Commonly, Avalokiteshvara has a forearm and white in color. And commonly, Guru Padma Sambhava is in a royal, the king's outfit, and holding a vajra and holding a skull, kapala, and so and so. So all these things are very much like very much needed to be believed. No doubt about it. You have to have a belief that the Guru Padma Sambhava is like that. Avalokiteshvara is like this. So anyway, the most important thing is pretension is not good. Pretending something is no good. You should never be pretending. You have to be total. You have to be 100%. Whatever you do, you have to be 100%. When you are baby, we all were baby. We are 100% baby, aren't we? We were, at least, for a period of time. Say, for 6 or 7 years, we were baby. 100 times baby. We were not pretending we are baby. We were real baby, truly baby, 100% baby. Acting as a baby, not only acting, but thinking as a baby, and real believing in a baby as a baby. So this is what the way your life carried on and brought up. So that is the thing. Vajrayana is nothing but it is a process of developing one's own life. So therefore this is a spiritual way of bringing yourself up and getting more matured. So during the period of being child period, or whatever you may call, that is the period that you have to be going through all the visualization, and not only visualization, but at the same time you need the recitation also. Mantra recitation is very much needed, because mantra recitation transforms the speech, the dualistic form of speech, into the non-dualistic form of speech by doing the recitation of mantra. Visualization is skill to transform your dualistic visualization, which is these phenomena, into the non-dualistic visualization, which is the mandala. Mandala, inner and outer and circle mandala. And then the true mandala, that is, central mandala. Anyway, the mandala, form of the mandala. You need to visualize. And that is a level of understanding. So it's a level of understanding. There are many levels of understanding. You might have heard many times, I think, saying that if there is a cup of water, many different, the 6 different realms has 6 different visions of that cups of water. water is very truly, solidly, truly, really there as a water for me, for us. But for many, many other beings, they don't feel this is a water. They will feel like, for example, for fish, I don't think the water is for to drink. Water is to drink. Water is to wash. I think for them, water is a house, or water is something that they live on. So the different animals or different beings has a different vision of anything. So our vision of these things is very much our vision anyway, our individual vision. But it's a very stupid if you believe that this is the true way of exist. It is inherently exist. Very, very stupid. Don't you think so? It is very stupid. Why? Because you know that this is not truly there. The cup of water is different, has a different taste, different understanding, different appearance. According to the text, the Dhamma text, of course, we scientifically, we're not really up to there, but anyway, the hell realm sees the water as a fire, burning fire. Water is not something that we think like we think. We think water is to wash our hand. Water is something to drink. Water is such a great thing to do, to utilize. But it is not true for many beings. Like in the hell realm, they don't appreciate water as something to drink and wash with. So it is a level of understanding. So our level of understanding, our level means like a samsaric level of understanding, is a very poor. They are this house is made out of bricks and woods and concrete and metals. So that's it. That's it. Full stop. But that is our level of understanding. So for that sort of stupidity, we need a stupid treatment, which is the visualization. Just to lift yourself little up to another level of understanding, which is the visualization, Sambhoga Kaya level of understanding. So that is very, very much like a visualization, like the mandalas and many different Buddhas and different Bodhisattvas and different female Buddhas and male Buddhas, wrathful Buddhas and peaceful Buddhas and whatnot. There are many different. So Yangti, right now, we are talking about Guru Padma Sambhava. So that visualization need to be done. That visualization will take you to the next level, which is very important. You have to go to the next level in order to go to the third level. The second level is very important to get to the third level. That is now the importance of visualization. I was thinking to tell you about the importance of visualization, because Vajrayana always talk about the visualization, and as I mentioned before, many of us, we are just doing visualization without knowing anything. What is the purpose of? But we just do it because we were told to do the visualization, so we just do it. Which is good also. Of course, you're doing it because you're told, so you're doing it. But you have to at least know why you are doing this, what you are doing, and what really the purpose of doing it. That is very, very important. And then after knowing that, then you have to, how do you say, you have to put yourself into it, into the scene of practicing with the great deal of faith and devotions, whatever. They're very, very important. But you have to understand something. To my understanding, the faith that we normally talk about, say other religion, they talk about the faith in God and faith in so and so, faith in so and so. I think they just remain believing in what the master say. That's it. And believe it, and then that's it. Don't try to understand anything, or don't try to sort of put a wisdom application further. Whereas in our case, the faith or devotion is obviously needed, but it is need to be understood. How to go about. Is it the final destination or not? If it is not the final destination, then what is the process to go or to get into the next level? The further development needed. So what is there? So you have to understand a lot on top of the things that we were talking about, the faith and devotion. Faith in Guru Padmasambhava, faith in the coppered color mountain, exist coppered color mountain as a Guru Padmasambhava's mandala. Faith in Guru Padmasambhava's mandala, the Guru Padmasambhava himself, as a kind of a supreme Buddha of coppered color mountain, which means the palace or the paradise, or whatever you may call paradise of Guru Padmasambhava. And we have to have a faith. And there are many sutras, for example, paradise of Guru Amitabha. There are many, many sutras, volumes of sutras, saying that the whereabout the paradise of Amitabha. Where is Amitabha? What he wears? What does he look like? And how many how many Buddha and Bodhisattvas? Who are they? So all these things are well written, and you have to believe it. Believe in the sense that you then, it is the skillful method to get yourself little higher level than where you are right now. Right now we are in a very much low, very, very, very low level that you cannot see any divine things, any special things. Everything is so boring. Everything is so boring. Wherever you go, everybody is walking on two legs, which is very boring. Therefore, some religion, there has some angels with the wing. It's a little interesting, a little more interesting. People flies. It is also good. Anyway, why not? Why not? Really, you have to have an open attitude that somebody is flying with the wing. Why not? Why do we, why do all of us, or we all need to walk always? Why? Such a boring, So and also some of the deities, some of the mandalas, some of the Buddhas and the Dakinis, they have one leg. Some even have no leg, no hand, but only a wing. But not two wing, only one wing. One wing go like this, and they flies. Yeah, true. And that's a very interesting, birds are flying with the two wings, which is also a little boring, because you are so So with one wing goes like this and you fly. That's much more interesting. So this is the thing. I'm not joking. It is true that in Vajrayana visualization we have that sort of visualization. No legs, no hand, just one wing goes everywhere. She can fly everywhere. She's very, very strong. And some Dakinis, they don't have eyes. Without eyes. They can see everything. She can see everything without eyes. That's also good, because the dualistic idea says that you have to have two eyes in order to see the things. So in order to demolish that idea, the dualistic idea, the Buddha comes in the form of Dakini that has no eyes. Yet she can see. She can do whatever we do, 100 times or 500 times, 1,000 times, million times more than what you can see, what we can see. She can see without eyes. Which again is not only interesting, but it is very, very outrageous, which is very, very important to understand. That is the way, that is the skillful way of breaking our solid wall. A solid wall says 2 eyes needed. If you can't see with 2 eyes, then you put 2 glasses so that you can see now 4 eyes, like myself. I have 4 eyes on it. Now I can see. That sort of stupid idea is no good. You have to demolish that. That is the main purpose of practicing. Therefore, Buddha comes in different forms. 100 different Buddhas form, 1,000 different Buddhas form, millions, billions, countlesses of Buddhas forms are there. Most of them, of course, comes with the 2 legs. But many of them no legs, or many of them has only 1 leg. Many of them has 2 hand, 2 legs, and 2 wings, like Vajrakilaya. Many of them has 4 heads. Many of them has 1,000 heads. Many of them has 9 heads. Varieties of things, Many of them have 3 eyes. Why these things are stupid things are happening? Why? Very interesting, but very stupid. Why? Because we have to demolish our dualistic visualization right now we have. If we see somebody is having some eyes over here, that will be written, I think it's in a, what do you call this? This will be a big news, I think, in a newspaper. Big news, Every media will come and follow you. He has 3 eyes. Wow, how come? So it is going to be investigated and this and that and I don't know, whatever, It's a big issue. Why? Because we are so strongly, so truly attached with the idea of having only 2 eyes. So therefore, the main idea of Buddha's teaching is to demolish that stupid idea that we have, childish idea. Therefore, he put 1 eye more, so that see what happens, what the reaction of the people. And this will teach you that anything is possible. That will teach you anything is possible. That it's not only just a saying that this is the realm of the possibility. Sipa, we call it Sipa. This realm that we are in is a Sipa realm, means the realm of possibility. Buddha said that because when he realized that everything is possible in this world. So he called it Sipa Kamsam Korwa. But calling it as a Sipa is not good enough. Now he wants to show it. So therefore the Buddha shown different forms of Buddha. And also the great masters in Tibet, in China, in Japan, in many places, of course in India mainly, They did lots of miracle, so-called miracle things. They changed the water into the fire, fire into the water. They walked through the rocks and they come out of the rocks like nobody's business. And also they leave the footprint. They drew a lot of different things on the solid rocks, as if this is nothing, you know. Doing this is just they wanted to show you, not only talking, but not only calling it a possibility realm, but they want to show you that it's possible. I'm using my finger to draw the things on the solid rock. It's possible. Come on, have a look. So that is the thing that he or they want to show you the reality of the possibility. My father also, by the way, has drawn a lot of beautiful things like a drum and also corn shells and all these things when he was small, and his footprint is still available. I mean, everything is available to see. In the footprint is, of course, they kept in the shrine. So why these guys have to leave the footprint in the rock? Why? Is because the rock is not as solid as what we see. This is what the message that they are trying to sort of put across to us. That is something that we have to understand, so that, you know, at least we will cool down in terms of solidness. You know, we are so hot. We are so hot that, you know, we are hot with the attachment. Attachment is so real, so strong. So these guys by performing this, these guys are hoping that people like us will at least cool down a little bit and get closer to the reality, to the enlightenment. And not only my father, I mean, my father is one of them, but of course there are many miracles did by lots of great masters. They give lots of great teachings, yes, but oral teaching is sometimes very boring. I mean, to me it is very boring anyway. I wouldn't sit down like you guys doing this. No, if I were you, I would be walking out and have fun out there. I wouldn't be sitting here. But now I'm just talking because so it's okay. It's okay for me because it's a little more interesting than listening to somebody else's gossiping. You know, I wouldn't. But so therefore, many masters, they are performing miracle and give the great teachings. But unfortunately, many people don't get the teaching anyway. Oral teaching doesn't get. You don't get the oral teaching, as well as, of course, the miracle teaching. They don't. Whatever they do is they don't get. Like Rechungpa, he didn't get the message from the Milarepa. How many type of miracles that he performed in order Rechung to cool down. But Rechungpa was so angry. No way to sort of cool down. And Rechungpa even thought, this guy is always doing this anyway. Come on, forget it. Give me the book back, because I have taken a lot of trouble and a lot of hard work to get those books from all the way from India, and you burn them. How can it be like this? He's so angry. And Milarepa said, okay, cool down. So he performed a lot of miracles. But Rechungpa never get any message. So same thing, like us also. We know there are lots of great masters. They have been performing lots of so-called miracle and messages never got, never received. Never received. We are as bad as 500 years ago. I mean, we are still stuck with the, or maybe a few thousand years ago, or maybe at 10,000, tens of thousand years ago already. It's still the same thing. We never got the message. And the hours and hours of teachings also, you don't get the message. The message really you need is, of course, you have to get the message, the fact that it is transformable. It is the shunyata. It is not existing as it appears to be. That is the message that you have to understand. No, not more than that, not less than that. It's just as simple as that. Very, very, very important. Many messages you can talk about, but the real message, the main message is the purpose of the visualization, purpose of the mantra recitation, and the purpose of the sitting still and so-called meditation, contemplation. So therefore these two, body, speech and mind, these three, so these three, we call it three kaya. So three, body, speech and mind, needs to be transformed into three kayas. So three kaya, it is three kaya, but in Yangti practice, it comes in a visualization of three sorts of the Buddha. Guru Padmasambhava as an external. Inside, you visualize Avalokiteshvara, and inside of it, then you visualize Amitabha. Amitabha represents the mind, Avalokiteshvara represents the speech, and the Guru Padmasambhava represents the body. Not only just transforming the body, but its speech needs to be watched out. And not only the body and speech to be transformed, but also at the same time, most important is the mind. The thought needs to be transformed, needs to be seen as a shunyata and as the source of the samsara, source of the nirvana. Mind is the source or the main stream of nirvana and samsara. Base. We call it base. The mind is the base. The base for Buddhahood, the base for Vajra hell, the base for human realm, all the realms, they're all based on the mind. So the mind is the very, very important. That's the reason why it represents by the excuse me, by the Amitabha. So this, actually, when you are not in the process of practicing, you have a body, aren't you? You have a speech, you have a skill of practicing. I mean, that's what you call talking. And you normally have many, many thoughts that comes into your mind and goes out and I don't know, whatever, nonsense. So all these things are actually, regardless of the practicing or not, or regardless of realizing or not, doesn't matter. These are there with you. You know, anybody in this world, even the dogs and cats and goats and the horses and donkeys, they have body, speech and mind, which actually means they have three kayas. Three kayas. Three kaya. The Sambhoga kaya, Nirmana kaya and then the Dharma kaya. They have. Primordially they have it. But they don't realize it. I mean, we don't realize it. So therefore, in order to realize body and speech and mind, realize the nature of the body and speech and mind, I should say that way, you have to, as a skill, you have to visualize Guru Padma Sambhava as a representation of the body, and you have to visualize Avalokiteshvara inside of the body of the Avalokiteshvara, I mean the Guru Padma Sambhava, central of his body. Avalokiteshvara representing the speech of yourself and speech of the entire universe. And then you have to visualize Amitabha just to represent the mind, the basic mind. And that is very, very important. Again, as I said before, it is a childish, but it is very important for us to do that way and to visualize very vividly, very nicely there. But remember that you have to realize, or you have to keep on remembering yourself, or realize, or reminding you that it is not the ultimate. The ultimate is something else, Mahamudra, the great perfection, the Dzogchen. That is the ultimate. It is not the thing that we are visualizing is not the ultimate. That is very, very important in order not to be stuck. Not to be sort of like stuck with that kind of a dualistic blockages. Because visualization is also done along with the kind of an attitude of a dualistic, Guru Padma Sambhava was visualized there, and there's something visualizing done in front. So it's a dualistic anyway. Still it's a dualistic. So it is not recommendable to get stuck with that. May be a little better than stuck yourself with your with the pillar and the column and all these things. Little better version of a practice, little better version of stuck, little better version of blockages. But that is blockages. Anyway, you don't want to be blocked yourself there. Blockages are very bad, equally very bad. So you don't want to stuck with that. One needs to be very careful to remind yourself during the practices of the Vajrayana that everything is being Dzogchen, everything is being Mahamudra, being union, great perfection. That is very important. That is the kind of a main practices, mainstream of the practices that must not forget. And so therefore these three kayas to be practiced, Guru Padma Sambhava, Avalokiteshvara and Amitabha, these three kayas are representing the three bodies, the body, speech and mind. So now when we talk about the body, speech and mind, we think body actually means our body. But that is very, very, again, is a kind of a peculiar way of believing it. Body in the sense of form. Anything that is formally structured are very much included in the body, which is of course including the pillar and column and buildings and mountains, anything that appears to be real in the form. That is body we are talking about. And speech again appears to be like the orally kind of talk, speech, But that is not the speech that we are talking about. The speech is much more than that, which we are talking about. We are including all the sounds, all the voices and of different sorts, and the different beings, and also the sounds of different things. Maybe an aeroplane, maybe cars, and waterfalls, etc. Wind blowing and everything, whatever the sound. These are speech actually. Just not only just the voice that it's coming from the mouth, but any kind of sounds that is possibly there in the world are very much included in the speech, which is the Sambhogakaya. And then when it comes to the Nimanakaya form, when it comes to Dhammakaya, the Dhammakaya, of course, again, we say thought, we say mind. So it's like a very limited way of pointing out. But we should not be, limiting ourselves in terms of thinking about, understanding about the thought or mind, which is the representing by the Dhammakaya. It is much more than that. All the concepts, whatever the concepts that we have, all these concepts are very much included in that. And it has to be, seen as inseparable from the Dhammakaya. Because, so these three, these three, the Dhammakaya, Sambhogakaya, Nimanakaya, when it comes to this mantra, Om Ahong, when it comes into the kayas, then it's the Sambhogakaya, Nimanakaya, and the Dhammakaya. And when it comes to the mantra Om Ahong, and so this is what we call universal syllable. It's a universal syllables. The three syllables are the universal syllable. And also three kayas needs to be understood as a universal existence. It's a universal kaya, universal body, universal speech, and universal mind. And it is the universal truth. When person realizes the reality of the body and speech and mind, then that goes back to the universal truth, universal level of understanding. And that is a very universal, it's a very vast and profound. That is what we call Mahamudra. Maha means the great perfection. Great perfection. Dzogpa Chembo. Again, Chembo actually means Maha or great. So that is the greatness that we are talking about. The universal. So you have to understand, when we say these things, you have to be making it universal rather than limiting yourself and talking about your own sort of little small tiny body, and also the speech that you have, maybe like for instance today, for example, my speech is coughing speech. What is good about it? Nothing. It's just a coughing nuisance. It's such a nuisance for me, nuisance for you guys, listeners. Not only gossiping but coughing on top of it. It's such a nuisance, So if you limit yourself when you say speech, then whatever it comes from the mouth, if that is the speech, then it's really like you are very much limiting yourself. How can you be sort of like thinking about transforming yourself into the doctrine, into the Mahamudra? So you have to be able to make it Maha. You have to really be able to make the greatness. You have to realize the greatness of it. Universal truth. Everything has to be recognized as a universal. The things that we can see is a very dualistic way of seeing. Dualistic way. My speech, my coughing, my word. The word that I'm using is my word. Such a small thing, tiny thing, and it has to be turn it into a Maha, greater. I think I have to retire myself. So therefore, the Yangti, when I say Yangti, now Yangti comes in a three form, okay? Dhammakaya form, Nimanakaya form, Sambhogakaya form, okay? And that is why Yangti comes in the three form, because we are in three form. The universal is in the three form. Therefore, the Buddha has to come in a three form. That is the secret that you have to understand. In this world, universally speaking, the things are more or less summarized in three forms. Either form or formless. And formless, how do you say, divines, how do you call that? How do you say? Yeah, definition of the three. The formless form is speech and the mind. So anyway, these universally, it comes in the Om Ahong. It comes in the formless, and the mind. And therefore, this Buddha comes in the form. Buddha appears as a form, kaya, three forms. The Nimanakaya, the form kaya, and the Sambhogakaya, which is the speech form, and then the other forms, the mind. So it includes whole universe. So the Vajrayana, normally speaking, Vajrayana is the practice of universal practice. We have to understand that. It is very much connected with the universe. We shouldn't be limiting yourself with a certain type of forms or certain type of figure. That is very important. But skillfully speaking, I mean, this is what I'm talking is what I was talking is about the view, the tawa. The view needs to be understood that way. But when it comes to practical level of understanding, then you have to practice Guru Padma Sambhava. A vivid Guru Padma Sambhava, a vivid Avalokiteshvara inside of Guru Padma Sambhava, vivid Amitabha form inside of the Avalokiteshvara form. So these are practical level, as I mentioned before. So you have to visualize it. And that visualization skill, sometimes people feel very difficult to do. I felt also a little difficult when I start doing that. I felt a little difficult. But you have to get used to it. You have to get used to it. The things that we see very clearly, you can just see. Just look into the column and pillar, and you can see very vividly. That is nothing. That is because of nothing, but just because of you're used to it. You're so used to it. Therefore, it is so, visualization is so well done, easily sort of can be practiced. The visualization of Vajradhara, the Guru Padma Sambhava and Dakini and Daka are very difficult. Why? Because we're not used to it. As simple as that. So therefore you got to be used to it. You got to train yourself. There is no other way to go around. You have to go. You have to get through it. There is no miracles that you can jump somewhere else. It's a very easy, today, overnight you can just do it. No, there's nothing. You have to take your time and do it. Keep on doing it. It's an exercise. It's just a matter of an exercise. So you have to do it, and then you will get used to it, and better and better and better. And then you will be able to, and then finally you will be even able to see yourself as a real Guru Padma Sambhava. Nothing wrong with it. And there's no, that is again one stupid level of understanding when you see yourself as a Guru Padma Sambhava. When you see yourself as a Avalokiteshvara. And at the same time, after a while, then you will be able to even see other people also as an Avalokiteshvara, Guru Padma Sambhava. Again, that is the one more step, higher step, level of understanding, which is also good, but it's a stupid. But of course, as I mentioned before many times, that stupid path needs to be going through. There's no way to get around or get sort of like a detour. What do you call that? Yeah, detour. No, you have to get into it. You have to go through it. And these are the things that you have to be expecting. That is the part of your practices, the process of your practices. You have to go through it. That is the improvement, gradual improvement, achievement. And that is very, very important. Once and then then you will be able to, after that, you'll be, how do you say, again, the reason why I'm saying that is still you are in a stupid level of understanding, because you have to go then more further, which is then nothing to do with the visualization. Nothing to do with the visualization. Visualizations are left. You can leave the visualization, skill of visualization behind, and then you go to straight into the Vajra, what do you call that? The great perfection, level of understanding of Mahamudra. No visualization is needed. Visualizations, yeah, okay, if you can, if you want, you can do it. If you want, because of some good reason, some sake of helping people, yes, of course. But otherwise, you're not into it. You are gone beyond the visualizations level. Your level is much higher than the visualization. So you'll be remaining in the great perfection level, the level of Mahamudra. So that is what this is what then ultimate realm. You can say that is really the ultimate realm. But until then, you have a lot of different process. Like yourself transforms yourself into the Vajra of Guru Padma Sambhava, transforms your palace as a palace of Guru Padma Sambhava, and transforms all the visions into the different visions, the non-dualistic visions, and this and that. All these things are very good. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong, but nothing great also. But it's a process. It's just one of the process of your understanding, development of understanding, which is very much needed anyway. This is the reason why I say you have to be able to remind yourself all the way through that actual fact is the great perfection. Actual fact is the Dzogchen, as the Mahamudra, is not the visualization. That is very important to be reminded, because there are few of my students, they even tell me that, or when they do this, when they do meditation, they feel, they feel very angry, they feel very tensed, they feel very stressed, and this and that, because they don't know how to remind themselves the Dzogchen. They don't know how to implement their practice along with the Dzogchen idea, the Dzogchen or the Mahamudra. They just know how to visualize, but they don't know how to implement the Mahamudra along with the skill of the meditation. Therefore they get stressed, they get tense, they get angry, they get sad, they feel so funny as a result of doing meditation, visualization. So this is not right. You need to sort of you need to keep on reminding yourself as a as Dzogchen. That is also one of the reason why a great master like Shakyashri, he says that, you know, even before getting into the refuge, the master needs to show the impermanence, the non-existence, talk about non-existence, and so forth. All these things need to be mentioned many times. If you have that sort of understanding a little bit, then the whole practices, even include the refuge, can be done very nicely without any obstacles. For example, the essence of the refuge is the renunciation. So how easy it is going to be? Just simply imagine. If you know about the impermanence, if you know about the shunyata a little bit, you know, at least you were taught by the great masters. Then of course when time comes that you have to go through the renunciation, that's just it's just a cup of coffee, you know, cup of tea. It's just very easy, you know, to go with. But otherwise, renunciation, when you say renunciation, wow, how can it be like this? How can I practice renunciation? No way. Because, you know, everything is so solid, everything is so real, everything is so, so much needed. How can I survive? Yesterday, as I said yesterday, how can I survive without nail polish and polishing my nail even one day? How can I survive without lipstick? How can I survive without, I mean, it's only maybe for women, but then men also have. I don't know which one I should choose. But these days men has also a lot of makeup, you know. They have a lot of things to put on the face and a lot of things to put on the nail also. I have seen. So anyway, the male and the female equally, there are many small gadget things that we cannot renounce. We have some nuns, you know, before when they become a nun, they wanted to be a nun, but they don't want to shave their head, you know. Some nuns they feel so difficult to shave the head, because the hair is so important, so real, so important, you know. They told to the parents, and how can I survive without hair, you know? And then parents said that, you know, if you don't want to, then of course we are not forcing you to be a nun. You can be a lay. No, I want to be a nun. But can it be possible? You know, can it be like be nun with the hair? They even said that. So it's, you know, like this is just an example. You know, that we have that sort of solid attachment to the things around. So we cannot renounce. How can I be without my husband? How can I be without my wife? How can I be, without house, without property, etc. So therefore, Shakyashri, the great master Shakyashri's skill is a very, very good, I think very relevant. They need to initiate with the teachings of impermanence and the teachings of little bit of shunyata and all these things, even though he or she is not even yet in the realm of the practice of the refuge, but it doesn't matter. first to start with. You have to teach, and you have to keep on sort of like the student keep on hearing about the reality of the phenomena, so that when it comes to the refuge, it's very easy, to renounce, very easy to develop the compassion, to develop the sense of renunciation, at least from the mind, from the mental renunciation. Okay. So now this is. I think we have no time left. But today, as a summarize of the teachings of today, this morning, yesterday I talked about the Yangti. Yangti, what does Yangti means? And today I was talking a little bit about the three kayas. That is, of course, what are the Yangti? Yangti comes. Yangti is, of course, in a way you can call it like a view. It's just a view, but it is not only a view. It comes in a form. It comes in a three forms, three kayas. So three kaya comes in the form of now the skillful way. Then it comes into the form of Guru Padmasambhava, Avalokiteshvara, and Amitabha. So we generally, how do you say, without sort of like limiting yourself with this particular practices, but generally you have to understand that when we talk about Amitabha, Amitabha represents what? That is important to understand as a Vajrayana student. You have to understand a little bit of what Vajrayana wants to talk about. That is very important. Otherwise, there's a Amitabha, there is a Guru Padmasambhava, there's a Avalokiteshvara, there's a something, there's thousands of them. You get confused, and you don't know what really represent what. So therefore, Amitabha represents the mind, the clarity state of the mind, the real, the basic state of the mind, And Avalokiteshvara usually represents the speech, the Sambhogakaya of the Buddha. And then Guru Padmasambhava or Buddha Shakyamuni normally represents the Nimanakaya form. That is the form of the form. So these three are the very important Buddhas, or whatever you may call the visualization. So this generally you have to understand that. And so as a result of these practices, then you transform entire universe into the Mahamudra, into the great perfection. That's all we are doing. So tomorrow we can continue from that. Anyway, now refuge comes. I would like to just continue with the refuge. I think it's better. Since my bladder is quite big one. So, for those people who have very small, you can go and stretch yourself and come back. Doesn't matter, just rush. But anyway, now, refuge, refuge, Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. Again, Buddha, Dharma and Sangha is form, speech, the body, speech and mind. Again, going back to the Yangti, same thing. In Yangti, Guru Padmasambhava, Avalokiteshvara and Amitabha. Okay? And in the refuge, common path, then they call it Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. Buddha is equivalent to the Guru Padmasambhava. Dharma is equivalent to Avalokiteshvara. And Sangha, no. I'm talking the other way around. The Buddha is equivalent to the Buddha Amitabha. Dharma is equivalent to the Avalokiteshvara. And the Sangha is equivalent to the Guru Padmasambhava. So, Guru Padmasambhavas, these three kayas that we talk, that linked with the Yangti, is a Vajrayana way of talking about the refuge, but it's a Vajrayana way. And that the common or the Hinayana or common way of expressing it is Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. Very simple. So, the Dharma refers to the speech of the Buddha, the Buddha's teaching, that is written down in a piece of paper. That is what we call lung. And understanding by reading and by practicing it, that is tokpa, which is the understanding. So these two are very much the essence of the Buddha Dharma. So it's very much connected with the speech. And the Sangha very much connected with the form, which in a common way of understanding, we need to, it refers to those people who are a great practitioner. That is very much the practitioner, great practitioner of the Buddha Dharma. So he or she is a Sangha. So Buddha, yes, I think I've forgotten to talk about the Buddha. The Buddha, actually, there's 2-3 types of different Buddhas, but Buddha we have to really refer to is the mind, the Dharmakaya. Dharmakaya is the main basic Buddha that you have to understand. So now we are taking refuge, actually means we are taking refuge to Buddha, or Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, Nimanakaya. That is very important to understand. Universal Buddha, universal Dharma, universal Sangha. Otherwise, many people, they get stuck with the idea of the Buddha being somewhere there, Dharma being somewhere there, Sangha being somewhere there. So if you have that sort of notion to start with, I don't think it is a right way to do it. I think it is really a kind of a anyway, so therefore, to start with, one needs to really be able to realize Buddha, Dharma and Sangha within yourself, or at least you have to understand the Buddha being universal, Dharma being universal, Sangha being universal. That is very important to start with, if you want to be a Vajrayana practitioner. But if you want to be some of those religious follower, then you don't have to worry. You just can say that the Buddha is somewhere there. Buddha is in my shrine. I have a shrine, very beautiful shrine in my flat, and the Buddha is there. Sangha is in my shelf. Oh no, the Dharma is in my shelf. I have beautiful books that are written by lots of great masters and writers. So I have a bunch of them in my shelves. So the Dharma is in my shelves. Sangha, I have few monks, few nuns, beautiful nuns in Amitabha, beautiful monks in so-and-so monasteries. I have the Sangha there. Or maybe some Dhamma friends in our center, in my village, in my city. So these are the Sangha. So if you say that, it's not a right way to start with, but hopefully you will be able to transform your attitude after a while. If not, then you will never be able to improve from that kind of attitude, higher level. You will not be able to do it. So therefore, if you want to be a Vajrayana practitioner, or you want to be a real good practitioner, you have to start with Buddha being universal. So Buddha being universal, Dhamma being universal, Sangha being universal. That is very easy to say, but it's a little bit difficult to understand what it means. So therefore, Buddha, you have to understand that Buddha is the reality state of the mind. Understanding of universal need to start from the mind. You have to contemplate what is the mind and what it does and what it looks like. That is very important. Otherwise, if you don't do that, you won't be able to sort of get out of it. You'll be like you'll be stuck within your territory. You'll be stuck there, which is no good. You have to get out of your sort of limited kind of territory and go into the universe. So in order to go to universe, you have to be able to open yourself. So how do you open it? First you have to go back to the mind. Then you will understand the whole universe. Otherwise, if you search in the universe out there, you will never be able to search genuinely, spiritually. Materially, yes, you can search. You can go there and search. There's many researchers, for example, in this world. Many researchers, they research about, they have their research to be done. Like, for example, how many how many females we have in this world, how many males we have in this world, how many males of having this problem, having that problem, how many of females having this problem, that problem in this world. Researcher, and how the things works in the temperatures and sun and moons and all these things. Researchers, they go out and research. But that is the materialistic way of searching. That is also good, but that's not complete. Never be completing. So our way of researching or searching, you're searching the universe, or God goes into the universe, is through the mind. The mind is like a aeroplane. You have to get into the aeroplane, and then aeroplane will fly. Similarly, that you have to get into the mind, and then you will see the universe. So therefore, you have to go back to the mind, and you have to realize, or you have to be able to tell yourself at least Buddha is your mind. Buddha is the reality state of your own mind. It is very easy also, because if you say Mr. John or Mrs. Mary or Miss Mary, I mean, this person you refer to, actually, if you say he's a very nice man, if he's a very bad man, good or bad, all these definitions are coming from the sense of how good his mind is, how bad his mind is, because his mind controls his action, and his action shows how bad he is, how good he is. So the mind is the very, very important of this, a part of the Mr. John. Mr. John is not important, his body is not important. The important really we are referring to, unknowingly, is his mind. So that is similar to that. you also, when we talk about the practice of the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, you have to refer to your mind first, so that your mind is really the Buddha, you will know. Mind is very much the important. So the reality state or the purity state of the mind is the Buddha. Impurity state of the mind is the samsara. You know, the mind that has very much like hopes and fears, and of course the jealousy, etc. You know, desires, etc., etc. All these sort of minds are the cause of the samsara, and it is but it is mind. But that is like a dirty shirt. The shirt is the shirt. It is a shirt. It is made out of cloth or whatever, cotton or whatever. But it's just a shirt. But it's a very dirty one. But if you wash it, it's finished, and then the shirt is very white and very nice, very clean. So the washed form of shirt is like a Buddha. And then the not washed form, which means like a contaminated form, or the dirty shirt, is like the samsaric mind, which is not Buddha. Let's put it like that. Not Buddha means not seen as a Buddha, because you can't see. You can't see the white and the clean part of the shirt because of the so dirty. So the dirty part covers the clean part of the shirt. So you have to wash it, and then you will see the clean part of the shirt. It doesn't mean that the shirt, the dirty shirt, how do you say, is not shirt. It's shirt, but it is a dirty. So you have to wash it, and then you can see it. So similarly, that your mind is very dirty, contaminated by the defilements. So the defilements need to be washed or needs to be purified. But anyway, nevertheless, the mind itself is always the pure. It's like a shirt. Shirt itself is always shirt, clean. But the dirt comes out of comes from the somewhere else, and it looks very dirty. So similarly, it's the same thing. You know, mind is like that. So mind is Buddha. Let's put it like that. So this is the mind, the Buddha. So then now mind is being known as a Buddha. Then now the speech or the Dharma is a path to the purity state of the mind. Practice. Dharma is nothing but practice. You have to practice. There are many varieties of practices, but anyway, this is a practice. All the practices are included in Dharma. And then Sangha, again, those people who has the wish to practice, which means again it comes back to the mind. So anyway, without taking a lot of times, we are taking refuge anyway, okay? So we don't want to zigzag and also talk a lot of things, because I think many of you have already heard this Buddha, Dharma and Sangha many times. And I hope that many of you have already realized also that what is really the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. I don't really have to repeat it again. But for those people who are not familiar with these terminologies, so I just was a little bit, I don't know, stretching a little bit on these things a little bit, so that you will understand what we are really doing. When we say we are taking refuge, what does this mean? You know, refuge. We are taking refuge to our mind, our reality state of the mind. We are taking refuge to our how do you say, mind who is, how do you say, mind which is practicing. We are taking refuge to our mind which has the quality of how do you say, putting yourself into the practice, or or turning yourself into the path or practices. That is the Sangha. So you are taking Actually, what you have to understand is you are taking refuge to yourself. That's the speciality of the Buddhist teaching, Buddha Dharma. You're taking refuge to yourself. That is very much the key point. No matter what kind of terminology I may use, I use Buddha, universal Sangha, Dharma, universal Sangha. I use that word. Also, I use the word that say, the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. And I use the word Guru, Sambhogakaya, Nimanakaya, and the Buddhakaya, Dhammakaya. There are many different terminologies and words that you may use, but actually, it is your mind. Your mind is the one that causes everything, from nirvana to the samsara, to the hell. It causes all the things. So the mind is the one that you are taking refuge to. And speaking about that, now taking refuge itself, what does it really mean? That is a great question. You have to have that question. What does that mean? Okay, now you know that you are taking refuge to your mind, but now what does it mean? Taking refuge, take refuge, I take refuge. What does it mean? Again, it's a different thing. The other religions, I do believe that they have also a kind of a refuge, that please protect me. Something like the up there, somebody is up there, so you pledge to him or her and say that please protect me. Don't let me down, or something like that. Please protect me. So of course, this is what you take. This means you are taking refuge, and you become a refugee of that person, whoever he is or she is. So you want to be a refugee of certain type of people or certain type of energy or god or goddesses. And this actually means you are, you are losing the freedom. You are giving the the control to somebody else. And you feel very, very happy. You feel very great because somebody will be taking care of yourself. So you feel very good. And this is what the other religious, or maybe the religion way of, taking refuge. So if we, as a Buddhist also, we think that if we have that notion, same notion, that the Buddha being a protector, Buddha going to be protecting you, Sangha going to be protecting you, Dhamma going to be protecting you. It's nothing wrong with it, but I don't think that is the genuine Buddhist way of refuge. If you believe that way, that is not right. Not only that, theoretically speaking also, practically speaking, also it's not right, because you are giving control to Buddha. You are giving control to Dharma and Sangha. If I were you, I wouldn't like, even the Guru also. I take refuge to the Guru. Yes, you're right. But do you like your Guru to have your control on you? I don't think so. I wouldn't like it. Control needs to be within yourself. This is the purpose of the Buddha Shakyamuni's teaching. Says that you are the Buddha yourself. You are the Buddha of yourself. You are the Dharma of yourself. You are the Sangha of yourself. You are the protector of yourself. This is what exactly he said. So you have to understand that, rather than seeing somebody else there and take refuge. That's not right. Even though it's seemingly there. For example, you are taking refuge from me. So it's a seemingly that I am now the the person who how do you say, who is giving refuge. That means you guys are going to be my refugees. Means I have a control. I have to have a control. But it is not right way of approaching it. I am here to introduce the refuge. What is the refuge? I'm here just to sort of like to let you know what's all about. And not only that, I'm here as a witness that now, ever since today, you guys have taken the refuge, and now from tomorrow onward, you will be working on your mind. Not letting you go and wild. Not letting you go wild in the sense of desire, in the sense of anger, in the sense of jealousy, in the sense of nonsense way of thinking of the world. So therefore I am here as a witness, but not as a controller, not as a dictator. So this is very important, that you should not be carried away by the misunderstanding of refuge. So it's a good thing, it's a good news, that you're not controlled by anybody, and you don't need to, and you mustn't let anybody to control you, because you have your own headache already, enough of headache. So now you don't want extra headache again, somebody else to be controlling you. No matter whether that is in the form of religion or in the form of mundane. In the form of mundane, then your wife is controlling you. Your husband is controlling you. Too much of headache anyway. Too much of headache. Too many control. Even your children also is more or less, the one way or another, is a great controller. Pain in the neck. And so now on top of that, the Buddha is going to be controlling you. Dharma is going to be controlling you. Sangha is going to be controlling you. On top of that, your Guru is going to be controlling you. And then the life is going to be mess. Big problem. It's not right. In the form of protector, doesn't matter. Whatever you say, doesn't matter. It's a control. It's a control. It's not right. You have to have your own way of developing without, falling out of track. You have to have a track. As I said yesterday, you have to have your own discipline. 3 main important things Buddha said. That is important thing to be practiced. One of the most important is discipline. You have to have a skill to put yourself in the track, not out of the track. You have to. But that's the reason why the Buddha Shakyamuni said, you are the protector of yourself. You are the Buddha of yourself. You are the Sangha of yourself. That is the thing. If you do not discipline yourself, of course, what is the reason why Buddha said, you are the Buddha of yourself? You are not Buddha of yourself because you're not disciplining yourself. So what's the purpose of being yourself as a Buddha of yourself? No purpose, no reason. Reason is no reason. So one has to understand why Buddha said that you are the Buddha of yourself. Means he is saying that you have to be having a discipline by yourself. You should know how to behave. You should know you should know how to sort of limit yourself in terms of action and etc. So discipline, shila, is a very, very important, of course. That's the part of really the refuge. If no shila, finished. No refuge. Shila is the most important. So refuge Okay, that is the thing. I think it's good enough now. So now I was, yeah, meant to be saying that you are getting name, but those people who doesn't have the name, then they can come and we can get the name. And but those people who has the name, then I think you don't have to get the name again. I don't think so. Too many names, confusing. So now there's a ritual, a little bit of ritual practices that has to go through, but that's not very, very important. The important thing is you have to understand what is the refuge means. But anyway, ritual, as far as the ritual is concerned, I think you need to repeat after what I say. And so please repeat after me anyway, saying that Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, I am taking refuge until the end of the life, something like that, for the sake of all sentient beings. Tsumba gonsu sol, da ming, she jiwa, tuyun tene sonde, chisi choy pardo, kanyi namgi cho, sangye la gyapsu cho, doja da talwa, namgi cho, che la gyapsu cho, tso namgi cho, gendun la gyapsu cho, da chisi choy par, genyen do, tsumbe sondu sol, sangye la gyapsu cho, che la gyapsu cho, gendun la gyapsu cho, sangye la gyapsu cho, che la gyapsu cho, gendun la gyapsu cho, da chisi choy par, genyen do, lobun gi, zondu sol,